Hello, friends. My name is Rocky Outcrop. Welcome to Technical Analysis. Before we get started, I'd like to ask you to hit the like button. That'd be massively appreciated. Why? Not for my ego, but for the YouTube algorithm, of course. I hope you like my hat. And we are live, everybody. Ha. Welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining me. And yeah, so how are you all getting along? How are you all getting along out there? Another fantastic day of looking at the markets coming up right now. And we will be looking at Gamestop, AMC, whatever you suggest in the audience to take a look at as well. And we'll be looking at cryptocurrencies and all the usual good stuff like that. Now, there was other things I was thinking maybe I'd talk about today, but I haven't had the time to do the research to talk about it properly, so we'll talk about things like that tomorrow. That report that came out from Credit Suisse regarding the Archegos Capital family firm stuff like that. Oh yeah, it's Saturday tomorrow. Well, we'll not be talking about it tomorrow. We're talking about it in Discord, yeah. So we join the Discord and we'll chat about it all there. That was cool. Actually, shout out to what? Could do a live stream. Might do a live stream later tonight on Discord. I don't know. And I wanted to give a shout out to Bad Mama Jamma and D Harker and Christy Epiphany and the others who was there last night as we were chatting about stuff in the Discord, looking at different charts and all the rest of it. So there's some good things. Maybe I'll take a wee look at one of the ones that we were looking at last night. I certainly will when it comes around to taking a look at the cryptocurrencies because we were talking about them as well. Cool, nice to see you. I am not a cat. Meow. Duo Maxwell, Phil, PD, good to see you. Katie Babes, good to see you. Shake your booty. Good to see you. Oh, by the way, Jimmy, Katie Babes' name is Katie Babes, not Cathy Babes. Okay. The Gek 03, good to see you. Yeah, Chef Rocky here in the house. Plop in the old hair, you know how it is. Sally Mander, good day to you. Got your cup of coffee? I've got coffee here as well. It's tea time with Rocky. No tea, that's fine, have coffee, like me. Shout out to the Kind Coffee Company in Syracuse, New York. Rob Davis, good morning, my friends. Good morning, Rob. Good morning, Guitar Outside. Good morning, Sal. Good morning, Katie Babes. Good morning, Bad Mama Jamma. Woo, let's go. Good morning, John Skinners. Good morning, Shake Your Booty. Shake your booty. Right. Cool. So let's see. Whoa, my goodness, look at that. There's a banner up there. A banner? Yes, thanks, TradeSpotting. That's really sexy. Sexy banner you got there, eh? That's cool. Letting you know that, of course, TradeSpotting will be on later at 6 to 9 BST. That is, of course, British summertime, or beast mode, as it's known about these parts. Oh, cool. Corey Burke used the like thing. Yeah, so if you've hit like, then you can do :liked : and you get that YouTube thumb there. That's a bit of fun, isn't it? I made that. I copied it. I screenshotted the YouTube page and then cropped that picture and turned it into an emoji. Wow. Wow, it's impressive stuff. Right, so, oh, look at that. That's my Discord. Didn't want to have that up. Cool. This is what we were talking about last night with Bad Mama Jamma. AHT, Ashford Hospitality Trust Incorporated. It's a retail investment body. Now, they invest in upscale hotels. It's an interesting one. It's an interesting one because it has just done reverse stock splits. So it was 1 to 10 when there was, there's 10% of the stock that there was previously, which is cool. They said that they did it because certain funds needed to have, your stock price be above $5 to be listed in them. So they needed to. There's other things of note. They've also had an earnings report here. As reported, minus 235 estimate, or as reported, minus 435 estimate, 290 surprise, 145. Oh, that's so negative. Well, it's kind of negative, but the earnings reports last time were, of course, much worse. Estimate 152 loss, and it wasn't as bad as that. Estimate 153 loss there, as reported, 92 per share, etc. So. Over here, the loss, as reported, being significantly lower than their previous losses, which is good. It needs to happen because this is a company that's got just about 18 months worth left of capital in the bank. Oh yeah, Okay, cool. I'll put them on. They've got about 18 months left of cash in the bank, so they obviously need to sort it out pretty rapido. And that's possibly what's going to happen here with this one. If they actually do manage to turn around, of course they can do share issues, etc., down the line if they want to. I wonder who it was that, in a sense, that was pushing the prices down here. Part of me hopes it was the management team themselves. And we can just kind of like quickly kind of examine the fact that this has come down to fill in a gap over here, which is, you know, what's resulted in the pushing down of the price past its previous low. Typically, you'd be looking at this and saying, hey, look, it's gone on for lower lows. If this was just some cryptocurrency or whatever, I'd say this thing's on its last legs. It looks like it's dying, but it's not. AHT, it was AHT. That's the ticker here. It looks like it would be dying, but it's not. But it's come in here and it's like filled in that gap. It looks like something that was almost coordinated and planned. The gap obviously having been created back there on the 5th of November. Remember the 5th of November. Then the price is pushed on down. They put in another gap over here. That gap actually is currently a 2x increase in price. So this is one of these ones that could be a doubler or a tripler or a quadrupler. You could be looking at a 4x, 5x on this one. But it's actually possible as well to have a 10x play on this over the longer period of time. So it's an interesting one to look to. Of course, this is an adjusted chart. The share price used to be like $55 and $100, etc. The 10-to-1 split means that now says, you know, that was $1,000 and $500, etc. Looking at the thing at the minute, it's $17.82. That was equivalent of $1.70 recently. If I was managing risk on this one, I wouldn't want to hold on to it past $1.40 or $14, you know, essentially on that one. $14.50 or whatever in terms of a stop loss on this. I'm not a financial advisor, none of this financial advice, but that could be, thanks to Bad Mama Jamma, one of the best trades of the, you know, something to look to. It's certainly an opportunity. There's an edge on there. It's interesting. We've got kind of, you know, a slight increase in the sort of a decrease in the bearish momentum, you could say, as this most recent low came in. I wouldn't want to, you know, advertise any particular sort of bearish or bullish divergences or anything like that. I would point out, though, suppose that over here we've got a you know, extreme low that got pushed in there on the MACD. That's obviously a result of filling in that gap. Kind of curious about this one. As that DMI hits 40 at the top, is that time for it to turn around? You know, there's a lot of TA reasons to say that it's ready to turn around. I'd be concerned over the next couple of weeks, though, if it didn't actually manage to do that. In the meantime as well, I'm looking for it to bounce up towards $30, maybe then come after that and put in a higher low. It depends really whether or not we push on up towards 40. Of course, if we do, that's a big movement up the way, another, you know, additional 25% increase towards the top side, more in fact 30% increase towards the top side, just to fill in that gap. So interesting stuff to be had there if that were to actually start to happen. But of course, that's a company which is, you know, effectively on its last legs. I mean, it's interesting though, because it's a real estate investment company, and it could, you know, it's upscale hotels, which is obviously normally the best retail or the best real estate in town, is where the upscale hotels are. I would know about it, surrounded by them here in the city. Mwah, lovely Edinburgh. And yeah, so that's that's the where you want to have your money. Of course, they need to just be able to finance that over the next wee while. I foresee it being possible for them, especially when you look with regards to like their earnings having reduced so much. You know, last year's losses were so catastrophic. I think if their losses were just as low as that, they'd actually have maybe, you know, 2-3 years worth of capital in the bank, and the actual net assets that they have themselves add up to being worth around about $4 billion. So a company that's currently got a market cap of 400 million, net assets worth about $4 billion, and obviously it's got a chunk of debt in there, but you know, it's able to finance that currently. So that's what I'm looking to. Interesting stuff there. So cheers, shout out to Bad Mama Jamma for that one. And yeah, I'm aware that the chart layout, by the way, is a little bit more cluttered with me with this banner, etc. I haven't quite figured that aspect out yet of how I'll lay out the charts on the show, but who cares, right? It's all good. We're doing all right. The chat's still visible and all the rest of it. So that's cool. That's cool. Banana fridge. Banana fridge. Hey, I can't really see the ticker. Is this AHT? Yes, that's AHT. Thanks, by the way, for asking. That's what that was. This one that we've got up at the minute is GME. I tell you what, I'll sort this whole ticker invisibility scenario out at the minute real quick. Go back to doing what I used to do. Yeah, man. I'm going to go back to doing what I used to do. Just a sec. Where is it? There's that one. And then I'll just make it ticker. Stick it like that. Stick it like that. Stretch it out a bit. So the ticker will always be visible on screen, and there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. I'll leave it with a bit of space on the right in case we go to something that's got a bigger name, right? And I'll stick that up there for now. Okay. I'll have to figure out my whole layout a bit better at some point in the future, but there we have it, right? So that's what we're looking at. You can see the ticker up there all the time in the top right. It'll never be a problem. Never be a problem now. Morning, Jen. Morning, Jen. Morning, Katie. Morning, Andy. Morning, Buzzard Jake. Morning, Rob Davis. Morning, Justin Richardson. Good morning, Apple Blossom. Lovely to see ya. Lovely to see ya. Lovely to see ya. Lovely to see you, Finesse Finance, and Andy A, Darren Thompson, Zach. Zach? I don't want to say your name wrong. Butinsky, eh? How about that? JT858, good to see you, my pal, my name, my letters and numbers friend. Yes, good to see you another day in the world of serial code names. Right, cool. So, yay, Gamestop, woo! GameStop itself, like, I had this pitch fan up there in the charts. Don't know, did I delete it? I don't know what happened. I think I deleted it. That was kind of coming in at around about this area. It kind of just looks something like this was where that pitch fan line was. We know that there's a general kind of need, if you like, for the prices to start going up. I was talking about this last night. I think it's probably fair to mention it. In fact, I'll go full screen for a second for this part. I think it's probably fair to mention that people naturally would be feeling a little bit frustrated with the pricing of GameStop and AMC and all that at the minute after a long time of anticipating movements towards the top side and them not having actually happened, right? You know, we've had numerous technical reasons to say that it would happen. Obviously, numerous technical reasons to say that things were bearish, you know, as well, like we've discussed in terms of the trend, and yeah, you know, it's maybe worth saying to people that you're allowed to feel a bit of that sort of frustration, you know, just kind of, you know, you're allowed to say that, you're allowed to feel it, because that's exactly what's going on in the markets. You know, this extended period of kind of sideways yet still down, sideways yet still actually kind of trending down the ways just slightly, is bound to have a sort of shakeout impact on a lot of people, and that's, you know, obviously going to be felt, and that's going to be felt in terms of frustrations that people have and content that gets put out there, etc. So it's maybe worth just acknowledging that, kind of, you know, addressing the elephant in the room, if you like, and then kind of moving on the way. We're still obviously concerned as to whether or not this is kind of going to just operate as a support for us. At the meantime, this is a higher low that could be coming in here. Like, great, cool, okay. In terms of the movement down the way, we didn't have a big, you know, load of bullish divergence right there on the daily time frame to sort of like pin our hopes on in terms of the RSI between these lows. Obviously, though, we're seeing this massively diminishing down momentum towards the downside on the MACD. I think that's a better expression of where we are just now, it completely tapering off. The volume that's come in recently has been, you know, actually really relatively small volume. Relative to the previous day, the day before that, it was twice as much. You're like, oh my goodness, we've got so much more volume today. But of course, that's just indicative of the overall lack of volume that we're seeing here. And as you can see, it's still historically fairly low. So nothing's really particularly changed yet. Looking to see if we do get some like decent volume with any movements towards the top side, obviously, or decent volume if there is movements towards the downside, and all that. If we did actually break 150 at some point, then I'd be concerned about movements down towards 120. But in the meantime, I'm really just kind of wanting to see us be able to push back up above up the way and get some positivity. This is the longer term time frame chart, so diving down towards the 4-hour time frame to give us a bit more perspective on things. We discussed this yesterday at one point as well, whether or not this 4-hour time frame volatility zone box in the background has been fulfilled or not yet. I think it probably has been. Oh, what was that? Apple Blossom. Thanks so much, Apple Blossom. That's awesome. What did you say there along with it? It says, I like a man who plops with confidence. Happy Friday. Thanks so much. Yeah, plopping with confidence over here. Cheers, Apple. You taught me this. Thanks to Apple. Everybody owes their thanks. Owes gratitude to Apple for teaching me how to plot my hair. Is that a fair thing to say? I don't know. Right. I think it's probably just me that owes her the gratitude. But anyway. Right. So I want to see this operate and actually, you know, start to trend towards the top side. And we've talked about trend a lot recently, actually. So people kind of are fairly familiar with it, are fairly familiar with it. So what am I talking about here with regards to? I think I think a couple of times there when I was talking, I forgot that I was on the big screen, so you didn't see me draw that line in at one point. It doesn't really matter. Right, so I want to see this operate as this higher low essentially for us. That's what I'm looking for, a higher low, just one, you know, just one. Over here, whenever the prices drop back down to 176, having been at 190s, it would have been nice had that been the higher low. It was one of those weak ones. And we discussed it at the time, of course. When we came back down and retested it, it wasn't going to operate as support for us. It just wasn't. And the prices then dropped on down after all, looking for an actual higher low. And that's where we are currently. So that's the debate for us. It leaves it fairly narrow for us as well. It's quite easy. You know, if we do see the day closing below 157, then we've got a lower low coming in, and that clears up a bit of that context of that discussion for us. At the meantime, we're obviously in that mode where you're riding the crest of that wave on your surfboard, hoping to not get wiped out. Everything's kind of going along fine at the minute, so long as prices do actually turn back around again. You know, so long as we don't fall off our surfboard, everything's going fine. And that's where we are right now. The decrease in momentum towards the downside is very, very good to see, and we're essentially waiting for this to kind of play out fully for us. Maybe it's worth having an examination of a couple of different aspects with regards to the Fibonacci just here on the chart. How are we doing for time? Got 10 minutes. I'll be able to do some other TA as well on what's that thing called again? Oh, AMC and other things that we talk about. Right. So yeah, you've got like as you can see now here, clearly I'd placed that wrongly. It doesn't really matter. You can see that obviously we came up twice towards the 618 on the linear chart, and we've come back down several times towards where the 236 is here on the linear chart. I'll just make the 236 white. What happens on TradingView, by the way, is if you go to a different Fibonacci you've set up differently, open up the settings and close it again, that becomes your kind of default for the next Fibonacci that you draw on, which is why my colors changed there. Anyway, so that would be kind of, you know, where if you did see it pushing down past 150, you'd want to see it coming in for another bounce at, again here, just kind of on the most simplistic basis on the linear chart. On the logarithmic chart, that 143 number doesn't really tally with anything. It's more like 136 that you're looking for in terms of Italian, but 143 would be putting in a higher low overall again. So this is your high, and this is your low, and this is your higher high, and this is your... Yeah, and this is your higher low anywhere above like that 136 area. For me personally, I'm not wanting to. I'll be looking for that as soon as we've gone past 155 on a closing basis. So that's why we're able to talk about this quite tightly at the minute. Yeah, not a massive great deal to be learned in terms of flicking between these things at the minute on that front. But as well, there's possibly the conversation which is worth having with regards to skipping out the January extreme movements and just kind of looking again from the lows at the $40 price point, roughly up to the highs that we've had in here. Now, at this point, I've just taken it up to the wick high that came in immediately afterwards. It was a higher wick as opposed to the closes. So where we are on that front then is just like kicking about here with the possibility of coming down to that 382 again, and that's that weekly low that we saw at 150. So if we just dive up towards the weekly time frame and show you that this is bang on there in terms of that 150 area. And that kind of sums up again where we are at the minute. We don't want to see this coming in here and putting in an equal low. Why not? Well, it's kind of more obvious when you see it on the weekly time frame. Our highs at the top there were lower, so they were lower highs, high, lower high, lower high. There's a low, and then coming down there, an equal low or a lower low is kind of negative from the broader perspective, obviously, right? So those are the bigger things to kind of avoid. And in the meantime, any sort of movement towards the top side is going to be met with all of the open-armed welcome. Oh, I see my chart's really distracting. Anyway, there you go. I'll try and do a better job of that. All of the open-arm welcome that, of course, the bull trend would be received with by like the prodigal son coming back. Hello, you were always forgiving our bull trends. Don't hide away. Come on back. AMC over here, weekly time frame, showing us that they've come up. We've maybe rolled over a little bit here at the top side. We've managed to close in the gaps that were visible on the lower time frames. As you can see in the weekly time frame, they were never visible anyway. And indeed as well, there isn't actually a gap on the weekly time frame down there at the 26 price point. But you can see with the interaction between those wicks that they're actually, that's the next danger spot. 24-hour time frame. Here you can see then in, is it 24-hour time frame I want to be on? No, I want to be on like the 4-hour time frame. Where is that 26? Where is it? Is it not even there? Am I wrong? Where is it? Here's 25. There's 20. There's 34. It's not there, right? Okay, so it's not on the 4-hour time frame either. So like this is like one of these very not compelling gaps. Obviously, 1-hour time frame. Where is it? Where is it? There it is on the 1-hour time frame. So we've got this little this potential kind of gap area to be filled in. It's only on the 1-hour time frame, so it's not as visible. But that would be kind of the next zone if we did seek further capitulation. However, at the minute, then we're doing all right. And just to show you again, then if with the measured move, that takes us down there. So there's obviously a degree of confluence off the back of the charts right now for technical reasons to go in essentially either direction. The prior trend leading up to this consolidation has been downwards, since June, although there's hardly a long running trend. It's just a corrective trend so far, as it were, before hopefully then continuing on with the macro prior trend. And my leaning on this one is that we'll be going towards the top side, and I'm aware of those risks down below. So how will we perform today will be the question we'll be being asked with regards to this with this consolidation phase that's on the go here. Let's drop down to the 15-minute time frame, stretch this out. We'll do the same thing just real briefly on GME as well to kind of show us where we've been, and we're talking about whether or not we'll be kicking about inside this region for any more time essentially on this. If I lock these so they can't be extended, so that's what's going on here. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It does matter actually, because I'm really annoyed by these lines. Yeah, I don't know why I'm not able to stretch them out afterwards. Give me a thing here, and then yeah, I can do that one. Well, whatever. That's obviously frustrating. Don't know why they're different. Anyway, yeah, we're in this box here. We're obviously at the apex of the triangle, the way that we've drawn it in at the minute. And we are wondering, therefore, then, will we spend much more time kicking about within this zone or not? We're obviously due a breakout. Today's Friday. Is it likely then, in terms of the psychology on a Friday, for this sort of thing to happen? Well, yeah, actually, I suppose it probably is. So that'll be cool. That'll be cool. Right, so that's kind of where we are. I'll just jump back over to GME for a quick second here before markets do open. We've got 5 minutes. Sweet, flying here. Well, actually, no. Momentum-wise, not looking for divergence during a consolidation phase. We're not actually really properly trending at all. I'm looking more instead at the horizontals, etc. I was kind of trying to suggest something in here. Obviously, with regards to this zone, I think it's probably just as easy just to look at the bearish control zone. We don't want to be going into the bearish control zone. Finding a bounce at that area again is totally fine. But that's about beyond, that's the current sort of scope on that one. If we did want to look at this as well in terms of like, does it correspond with what we're seeing up above? Well, you can quite clearly see this lack of the correlation between the charts up above and of course the MACD down below here. That's looking fine during this phase. It is a triangle, it is a consolidation. We are going to wait for kind of confirmation on that front. Right, cool. So yeah, I was wanting to draw a wee sort of pattern around the GME just now. Previously, last night, yesterday, whatever, what was it again? Yesterday, that would be the word. We were looking and calling this sort of thing happening. What did it look like? Something like that or whatever. Clearly, we pushed outside that zone. I'm not massively enamored with that pattern anyway, as it was. But now, as a result of that, what do we have? I mean, is it really realistic to continue this down the way for a long period of time like that? No, not really. Is it realistic to try and to say? I mean, it is obviously it is completely realistic to suggest that there was actually an ascending triangle or for something like that on the go. You can totally talk about that, and you could talk about the expression of the move so far. with regards to this thing, and say that we've done, you know, less than 60% of that downward movement, so we've not finished it off yet, and you could be looking down towards 163, 165, etc. For you know, and if that were to kick off today, then you just get fulfillment of that pattern before perhaps moving towards the back towards the top side thereafter. However, just, you know, to treat it nice and neutrally, and I'll stick the extended trading hours on in a second, just to kind of fatten out the body of that story. But what I'm looking at with this right now is just simply just going to keep it simple and say that this is, of course, a rectangle pattern. Yep, that's the pattern that never really gets a look in trading, the rectangle pattern. It is actually a real pattern, as TradeSpotting laughs there. The way I presented that was kind of funny, wasn't it? Yeah. So, but this is it, right? So let's see. We've got 2 minutes to go. Let's click on the extended trading hours. How are we doing? Oh, wait, we're just kind of pop that over there. Wrap it inside the triangle. There we go. The triangle. Sorry, rectangle. And yeah. So let's just kind of go rectangle. No, rectangle pattern. The pattern site. Let's just bring up this. So rectangle tops. Oh, we'll call this a rectangle bottom instead. Yeah, nice one. Obviously, the chat's going to be almost identical between the two pages, but we'll stick on the page that's relevant to us. And here we have it then, ladies and gents. Statistics are updated last on the 26th of August 2020. Ooh, it is, of course, let's just see what's its rating. 30, it's 8 out of 39. Ooh, or 14 out of 36. Sweet. So it's somewhere in terms of the top half of performing patterns. Ooh. Average risk decline. Pullback rate 64, 67. Percentage mean price target for up down breakout 79. 79. Right. So if we do go up the way, we're looking for 79. If we go down the way, we're looking for 55%. Move that's expressed in the range. Right, so cool. So we've got our instructions here. There's the range of this thing. We're not going to be too super precise about it, but if we're going towards the top side, we're looking for 79% of that. So we'll get that dead easy by just drawing in the Fibonacci. We know that 79% is pretty much close enough to 776. So where's my 0 point? Is it opened? Damn it, I'm slow. Where is it? Anyway, I'll keep doing what I'm doing. That 786, so like that's where that would be. So this would be our topside breakout coming in a bit there. And we'll do the same thing again for the downside. That was 55% if memory serves, so that's close enough to 50. The 50% was in about there, so just a little bit past that there. There we go, 55%. So okay, remove, and where does that bring us down to? Get away from the lower end, get away from that, get away from that. Where that brings us down to 160 buckaroonies. Is that a lower low? No, it's not. It would be ever so slightly shy of that, especially if we just wicked down there and moved up the way. So, you know, that's the tolerance that we're looking at overall there with this one with regards to its latest pattern. Right, sweet, nice one. That's 1431 by my watch. Let's see how chat's getting on. FU Money, hello FU Money, good to see you, pal. FU Money, recommend you check out his channel on YouTube. In fact, screw it, let's give FU Money a quick shout out here on YouTube. FU Money, of course, being Discord, from the Discord. He's a good guy, great friend of mine, and I highly recommend his content. Let me just bring it up. FU, it's not a name you write every day. So I'll be honest with that one. How do you spell it again? EFFYEW. EFFYEW Money. I mean, I've got him obviously over here on my subscription list anyway, but I wanted to type it in for everyone to see. There you go. There's that guy. There he is, and he does videos which are like, you know, telling you how to use charts. Let's just bring up a random one here and skip into it so you get the idea of what this guy is all about. Just let me just see. Don't wanna cover up. There he is. There, look. There he is. There he is. Look at that. Hiya, hiya, hiya. Cool. Nice one. So that's what he's all about. There, explains how to use stuff on the charts, and it's good. It's good content, bro. Right. Let's put me back on screen properly. Pow. Right, back over to the charts. Yeah, charts. Charting. Here we are charting with Frens. Just by the way, to see how all of that TA coincides with the TA that we'd already done, just to keep everybody up to date. Oh, look at that. It perfectly coincides with it. We're more or less looking at a bounce for the 786. This is our liquidity zone down below that we don't want to be kicking about in. If we do push down the way, then the story kind of changes when we push past that 157 area. Getting a bounce here at this lower end. Lovely, jubbly, exactly what I want to see. Oh, hello AMC. What are you doing? You gapped down and immediately filled it in, did you? How nice of you. And we're already back up above that area at 38. Oh, that's cool. Well, this is where we want to be sticking around at AMC. We don't want to be pissing about too much down at the lower end, if you don't mind. If you could be so obliging as to prevent that from being the case. So yeah, cool. Right, that's where we are just now with this one. Like I say, this triangle that's in the background there doesn't seem to be drawn in quite as nicely as it was on the bigger chart a second ago. Just remove the top line from it because I don't really care about it. But I wanted to show people in terms of the fact that we're closer to that apex than you might be thinking. Closer to that apex than we're close there. We're close. We're kind of, something's going to happen fairly soon, I would imagine. Right. Yeah. So yeah, I appreciate the charts completely covered up by all of the chat and my face and everything else. There we go. Hearts from everybody from FU Money. There you have it. Check out his channel. There's a link to in the chat there, right? So there's a link to the channel. That's FU Money's channel. I know that'll come up before I was saying it. Oh, yeah, something else I should say. Can you hit like? I really appreciate when people hit like. Helps the channel get seen by new people, which is the lifeblood, of course, of this channel. You know, we need to always have new virgin blood coming in, so we can suck all the life out of them and discard them. You know, that's YouTube technically. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But that's that's maybe the policy of other YouTubers. I don't actually know. But yeah, anyway, help the channel, right? Limmy on your recommendations. Of course, Dan. Who have got my recommendations? Who does Rocky watch on YouTube? Inside, behind the scenes of Rocky Outcrop, you've got Ronaldo Moreno, great guy, recommended viewing. You've got Marant's Rants, he's an interesting character, for sure. You've got 3 blue, 1 brown series. He does maths videos, super interesting dude. Houston Wade over there, we've got a problem. Hey Houston, we've got a problem, yo. Trade spotting up there with his AMC GME, myself and Limmy. There you go. If your YouTube doesn't look anything like that, then you're going to need to sort it out. You're using YouTube wrong. What does Limmy say up here? Good. We were talking about this last night as well. It's not the ideal entry at the minute, you know. It's about a case of finding out where it is. Of course, we've identified an edge in the market on this one. That there would have been a much better entry at $17 than $17.50. I'd have been hoping to have picked up some of that myself if I wasn't trading at the minute. But I'm not a financial advisor. I wasn't doing a YouTube video. I'm not a financial advisor. None of this financial advice, and I don't expect anything to happen in the next 15 minutes anyway. So it's not like I'm missing out, right? And we're talking about a doubler or a tripler. Doubler or tripler, or a complete stopper outer and not giving a shitterer after 10 minutes, or depends, you know. We're flexible here as traders and all that good stuff. Anyway, just checking in with our pal, AHT Ashford Hospitality Trust. Right? Wow. Hit refresh, says Lepton. No, hit like. You got the word wrong, Lepton. It's hit like, not hit refresh. Quick update for everybody. It's hit like. That's what you're supposed to do on YouTube. YouTube buffer censored the playing of a video, maybe. I wonder what that is. My YouTube keeps recommending cats fucking up birds. Not sure why. Yeah, it's looking good. Sarah says, Shadow Gang. Shadow Gang. Gang. I don't know what that's about, but hi, Shadow Gang. Not the kind of shiz I want to watch, lol. Wait, what are you talking about? Limmy? No, you want to be watching Limmy. Limmy's good for watching. if you're Scottish. Otherwise, you might struggle a lot. I don't know. Rocket Outcrop, what are your thoughts on SPY and the broader market this morning? Ooh, dum 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 dum. SPY, SPY, SPY. Bum 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 bum. SPY, SPY, SPY. Bum 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 bum. SPY. That's the SPY theme tune, by the way, if you didn't know. What are these lines on here? These lines drawn by drunk person. Yeah, must have been me. Remove. I was probably making some sort of point at the time when I drew them in. Don't hide. Remove. Boom, boom, boom. So that gap still remains on the charts over there. What do I think of SPY? What do I think of SPY? It's so messed up, man. SPY. It continues to confound people. Dum 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 dum. People talking about technical analysis. Does technical analysis work on meme stock? Says people. Yes, it does. Is the answer. Better question would be: does technical analysis work on SPY? That would be a better question, I suppose, right? If you want to ask one. If you're not a complete fathead moron. Well, it does, right? It does. But it's definitely confused people quite a bit recently. This whole section towards the top side. I mean, look at this entire section. Just let me borrow that green line. This entire chunk towards the top, right? Looking along here. Oh my God, just like divergence, 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 just up and up and up and up. This is the classic, of course. I mean, the SPY is well known in the world as the stonks only go up, bro. Chart, right? That's what, of course, what we're looking at here. But is there any actual rational explanations using technical analysis for why we continue to see this? Well, I mean, the hidden bullish divergence all over the shop as well, you know, just consistently never really putting in significant actual proper lows and breaking any sort of market structure and just keeping this overextended thing running on and running on and running on for quite a while. And it's when you draw it out like for like this that you start to see that, like, yeah, there's a really, 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 really long-term wedge on the go, but due to the general lack of volatility, any measurement off the back of this is only going to take you down a marginal amount. Marginal amount. Shut up, sirens outside. Shut up, sirens. You might not be able to hear them yet, but I can certainly hear them. Anyway, as you can see here, you know, popping down outside of that sort of thing only brings it down to 381. Doesn't massively change things. We're still massively, massively above. Please shut up, ambulance. Long-time subscribers to the channel will know that that particular ambulance driver outside must be new. So they'll learn. They'll learn. That's not the way that's not the way it goes. Right. Anyway, the move that you get down the way here is not massively significant. You know, in terms of the world thing, this is the March, February drop off, you know, before things happened in the world back in 2020 that must not be named, you know, the Voldemort thing that happened there. And then we have, and then we came up here, found resistance, blah, 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 pushed on, ultimately went up there and went past the previous high. Wow, successful V-shaped recovery there, pulled back down the way. And of course, these pullbacks, you know, they feel significant. They are significant percentage-wise, 10% or whatever of the economy. Oh my God, 10% of the value of the entire American economy was wiped out over the last month. That happens a lot. Bing, 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 bing. No big deal. So how do I feel about it at the minute? Well, what do I feel about it at the minute? I feel like the hidden bullish divergence that we're seeing here at this last low just continues to keep this party going. That sort of trading this thing using risk management is rather easy, and that doing so will probably result in you making some money. And if it doesn't, well then it's most likely your risk management strategy that needs to be assessed rather than your other excuse type things like timing or position sizing or any of that pish. or indeed your own analysis. I would look out for see these pullbacks that happen. I mean, they happen fairly quickly, and you're looking at like 4% over here, whatever. They can happen, so look out for that. Pushing down past that lower support line at the minute is something that I'd be kind of generally aware of. Wonder where that line came from. Was that the 1618 off the back of this thing? I think it probably was. Let me just check. Dum 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 diddaloo. Not quite. Diddaloo. Diddum. Well, anyway, whatever. Whatever. The diminishing momentum towards the top side gives that confusing picture. It's just a yo-yo game, up until at some point whoever it is that's playing the yo-yo game decides that they get bored playing with yo-yos. You all remember yo-yos. This is exactly what happens. Fun, loads of fun. Ah, can't be asked anymore. Eventually that'll happen. We just have to keep our eye out for it, and you'll do that using market structure. There's no real strength of trend. It's so funny. There's no real strength of trend, I mean, we have been trending distinctly, obviously, towards the top side incredibly strongly since March 2020 without ever looking back. ADX showing us quite clearly that, there's just no strength of trend there. So that's the question. So people are going to keep asking that. Let's acknowledge that that's where we've been in an upward chop environment for the longest time. And that remains the case. So it still remains the case. This is of course the most manipulated, in effect, chart in the world, as well. So love it. That's not true. I mean, silver is probably the answer to that one. But anyway, that's my thoughts on that one right now. I know that doesn't necessarily give anybody any information they might have been looking for, but there you have it. What had happened there? Did somebody put in monies and I just ignore it? Because I think I did. I think that happened. I need to check. FE money, 15-minute is kind of perfect for lots of things, especially what you're referring to. Good point. Oh, I wonder what you're talking about there. FE money, one day definitely eliminates it. Wait a minute, what are you talking about there? Oh, red question wrong. How early? Wait a minute, going up a bit more here. Lol, he's back at the charts. Oh well, I'll bug him in Discord. Rocketcrop, with volume spikes at the beginning and end of day, which time frame do you get the most value from when observing volume candles? Right, okay. Good point. Like it. Good question there. And it was just Apple Blossom. Sweet. Nice one. That was. I don't mean just Apple Blossom. There's no such thing as just Apple Blossom. She's too special to say just Apple Blossom. I mean, it was only Apple Blossom that I'd put that donation in so that I didn't miss anything. So I'm all good. Right. Yeah, FU Money asked the question there. It's an interesting one, right? And we'll go off of this chart. Let's jump over to something like GME instead. Bam, 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 where we've seen a lot of this happen, and we'll drop down to something like the 15-minute time frame, and we'll look at time, the times of this. So we've got question. Whoops, that's not what I wanted there. Bam, 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 bam. Doo-loo. Doo-loo. So you got these spikes in volume, like over here, that was markets opening up there. My time, it says, 2:32 chart here, times in UTC, by the way, for people who are interested. So opening up of the markets there, big spike in the volume, closing of the markets over here, and we're seeing an increase in volume. So like that, there's me looking at on the 15-minute charts just to kind of show that point off a bit. But here's a bit clearer, big spike in volume. What time was that? Oh, market open. Big, and by the way, that says 1:30 because UTC, like I say, it's British summertime at the minute here, so it's opens at 2:30, anyway, and forget it. So there you have it over there as well, 1:30 opening up of the markets. There you have it, 1:30 again here, 1:30. What was this one? 1:30. So primarily we're seeing the big volume coming in at market open. What do I think about that? Well, you get a lot of value out of the volume in the sense that you're seeing the big move, and you've noticed this a lot probably in the analysis that I've done. Today I've just completely flat out ignored it because I'm just doing my own thing. But you'll have seen this a lot with my opening technical analysis, where I've said the first 15 minutes has kind of set the tone for the day. A lot of the times, pushing us in one direction. Will we then retrace throughout the day, see like positive trading, in terms of being able to just trade, scalping or intraday trading, with regards to the price action throughout the day, having had that benefit from the first 15-minute candle kind of pushing us in one way or the other. And that's why then I've done the times when I've like put the VWAP on, but said at the start of the day it's completely useless. It's completely useless until you're at least half an hour into the day, probably, in terms of like looking at it, because literally it's useless. And then and that sort of thing. So it's like the volume that I'm getting an impression of from in terms of the intraday picture is I'm looking at it and thinking, well, it's going to be at the start and the end of the day, and everything in between is just the string connecting up those two anchor points, and you can kind of move along that wire yourself, trading it or not. In terms of like then the macro picture and getting well, what does that volume mean? Well, none of it means anything we're seeing so far. I mean, like looking at this on the daily time frame, you can see that at no stage in the last while has it really meant anything at all. So you can get a qualifier from that. So you want to be looking at it and saying like, oh my goodness, these candles here are so big in volume here on this 15-minute time frame. How does that really like line up? And then go up to the bigger time frame and say, oh, it doesn't really much. It's nothing. It's like, so in terms of like where do I get value from? It's about the context. Where is the value to be had in that volume? It isn't macro stopping volume. That hasn't happened yet. So what is it then? Well, it's just the movement at the start of the day. And how does that characterize how we'll be trading throughout the day? Well, looking at the context of the thing, because we know that it isn't like a big picture thing really, that it's going to diminish until the end of the day, that you're just looking at a low volume illiquid market throughout the period of the day, and that therefore that's going to influence how you assess any moves or breakouts, etc. And it's in that context that I get the value of it, as opposed to sort of doing sort of volume first analysis in order to make assessments for trading. I am a price volume guy. I do price action first and then volume as well in there is a big component of what I look at. However, it's just not been relevant for a while, which is why it's somewhat kind of like difficult to give people some satisfactory answers when they come in and ask about the volume, and I've seemed maybe at times dismissive or condescending even talking about it, because it's like, what are you talking about? All right. Cool. So 15-minute time frame. How are we doing in that box? That box not being precise. It's not precise box right on the penny, but we're obviously down past our lows currently, right? We are down past them. So we've discussed where we could potentially see the prices going at the minute, in this area, and that's that. So that's the general malaise of the price action, and this is the frustration that I said it's okay to feel. None of us want to see this happening, but we're waiting to see the prices find some sort of find a bottom. And how does that work? Well, it works just like anything else in life. You keep going, and you put it in the one more time, it goes ting, and you're like, ha, I found it. Then you get down on your hands and knees and you use your hands to rub away the mud off the top of the thing. And then the camera zooms down and you read the label off the top of it, and then you take it out of the hole. That's how it works. You've all seen it on TV. Right, yeah, sweet. So if I had her like this cat, meow, I'd be modeling hair conditioner. Gosh, I need to be buying hair conditioner, never mind modeling it. Luckily, Rocky is clueless about his hair, so he's committed to helping us with TA. See, the world can be fair. Hey, yeah. Nice one. Cheers, man. That's really nice. Rocky Outcrop, awesome. Thanks, bud. Zooming out and remembering it's all relative, macro versus micro, very helpful. Yes, indeed. What context are you trying to be informed by? Exactly. It's the ever-present question in technical analysis of what is your confirmation bias? You're human. Let's face facts. You're going to have one. Where is your bias? What inference are you looking for when you're asking that question? What is your hypothesis? Can you genuinely be neutral in your hypothesis? Can you actually remove your own kind of your own interpretation and just purely look at it on a raw data basis? Can you actually do that? Or whatever. That's great when you can and you're able to get into that mindset. And if you're unaware of that question, you never kind of ask yourself, like, what context am I looking for out of this? Or am I seeking a confirmation bias of one type or another? then you're almost certainly seeking confirmation bias of one type or another. I mean, that's just how it is. So you always ask yourself these things, put it into context. Sally Mander, by the way, great question, FU Money. It was really cool. Katie Babes, this hair is excellent. Thank you so much. The tea is even better. Oh, good. Like, I don't want to let the side down on that front. Yeah, GME making me want to sell everything. Yeah, man. That's the psychology. So when we're looking at these areas and we're saying, oh, come on, put in a low, turn around now. They'll often see things that give you that idea that that's where it's going to happen at, and then you go back down and retest that value. I was informed last night when talking to people about something that I do when I look at the charts, which is that so often when I build up a picture of the charts, I go through the whole thing, do a bunch of analysis on it, and then remove all of the drawings and go back to looking at it with just the moving averages on again. The moving averages, by virtue of the fact that when you hit the hide button, stay on there because they're sort of an indicator as opposed to a drawing. Is really handy. That's something that I exploit. I like that. That's on there. Give me a kind of look at things and refreshes the palette, for us quite simply. Let's take a quick look then. We've got two simple moving averages here. Two of them. One's 50 and one's 200. So one of the moving averages is 4 times the length of the other. So we have effectively got a short and a long moving average. Now, neither of these are particularly short-term moving averages. 50 is fairly short if you're going to talk about it from a sort of let's be real professional standpoint basis, etc. But if you're going to talk about it on YouTube, then that's a really long freaking moving average over there, bro. Anyway, but we've got a shorter and a longer moving average, right? So that gives you that dynamic between the crossing over, where you can look at the relatively more recent price time frame price action versus the longer term, right? That's all that we're doing here, and we'll do it across a different couple of time frames. Obviously, 15-minute time frame. This is showing us that it's negative. It's going to be like this across a lot. So the 1 minute time frame, just starting off on the 1 minute. Let's just start off on let's do it extremely expensive trading view account style, right? The 1 second chart here, first off, we're showing that there's the potential for this to start to get good right here, right now, in this very second. Excellent, nice one. Moving on from that one, though, up to bigger time frames, you can see here from the 5 second time frame onwards that we're not quite in that mode as yet. There's 5 seconds showing us the negative trend. 15-second chart, yeah, I know that's a bit of a laugh that we're having here, but I think that this is probably a fairly visual point that's nice to make. There's the 30-second chart. You can see the blue line is indeed still underneath the white line. The 1 minute chart here coming in, really getting into big time frames now, talking business, and we can see that, of course, that's still in that negative mindset there. 2 minute time frame, 3 minute time frame. Not going to keep commenting on what this layout is here because it's very much speaks for itself at this point. The picture says 1,000 words. There's us up as high as a 15-minute time frame at this stage. Here's the 30-minute time frame for us. Here's the 1 hour time frame coming up. Here's the 2 hour time frame, and here's the 3 hour time frame. Here's the 4 hour time frame, and and you can see this recently crossed, having not been crossed since ages ago. So this is now suddenly things start to get a bit interesting again. 12 hour time frame at this point, you can see that we're very much back in the bullish mode again. So between 12 and 4, so let's just jump to 6, and we can see that 6 has just crossed. Let's go to 8 and see how that looks, and you can see that on the 8 hour time frame, it's obviously positive. 8 hours, effectively kind of like a day, so if I jump up to the daily time frame there, and you can see they're in the exact same position. Going back down to the 12 hour time frame, you can see the exact same position, right? Because we're looking at full days at that point, right? So what does that mean for us? Well, everything under the daily time frame, because everything under 8, so 6, is in a negative stance, right? Everything all the way down as far as the 1 second chart, right? Where only now at the end of this little explanation can you see it's between the 1 second and above in the 8 hours plus, where we actually have a positive trend in terms of the moving averages just here showing us that. That's the current frustration that you're feeling, and it is quite clear. The reason that we're able to be positive and bullish about this is because on the macro, it is positive and it is bullish, right? That's that. In terms of the pain that you go through on a daily basis, yeah, it's all been negative, right? It has been. and that's where we are. In terms of the right here, right now, are we able to see a turnaround in the pricing? Then sure, maybe we are, but this is a constant struggle for us, and we're waiting for this to actually translate up into higher time frames as we pop back down and run between these two moving averages. Thank you, high frequency traders, for giving us this beautiful and, again, technical analysis appropriate lesson for us there. We're operating using just these simple moving averages perhaps as a way of conducting their high frequency trading. It does seem to have remarkable correspondence with the key inflection points in the market, does it not? Here with this cross, big movement up, back down again. It's between the moving averages, up and down. Support again at the moving averages where there is actual, candles showing up. Then, of course, the constellation of random orders and around about it, moving up and down again. And we can see this here again, spread between them, here again, spread between them, down, up and down again. Yes, technical analysis works on every single time frame, right all the way down to the 1 second. And again, thanks to the high frequency traders for, of course, creating that feasible scenario for us to be able to do this in the first place. So, yeah, there we have it. There we have it. There we have it. And we can see then, if I go back to something like the 1 minute time frame, that it would take several 1 minutes to be able to turn this around for us. We'd have to move up to 165 and then beyond to 165 and beyond, over the period of a not too long a time frame, and to sustain that for a while to be able to achieve a turnaround on this thing. And that's what we're waiting for, and that's a nice little summary of where we are right now. And perhaps the psychology that's going on for you, at least seeing it here and expressing it and understanding it far be it from me to say that, but Sigmund Freud, back in the day, said, and he would have been kicking around about the same sorts of times as all these lunatics that came up with technical analysis in the first place. He said that when you've got a malady of the mind, and neurosis, that actually understanding what that neurosis is, in most instances, is the very solution to that neurosis in and of itself in the first place. Just being able to turn around and face what you're looking at and understand it, see it there, and have it in front of your eyes and be able to say, this is it. Yeah, be self-aware, and to be aware of it solves almost all your problems. So I hope that today has been, and at least the general thrust of the episode that I've gone for today, after having kind of discussed this sort of thing with folks last night, was to express that, to be that voice, so that you can understand that this is obviously a thing, and to put it into the context of what we're looking at, and look at it and say, here it is, here is our frustration. That's okay to feel it. And what? Check out my Twitter, says Jimmy. And to feel a frustration, to understand it, and to then allow that to empower us, and to not drag us down into any sort of depths of depression or gloom, but to be able to understand what we're dealing with here and actually be empowered by it. Just quickly before we do that. Thank you for taking a step back. I can't tell how much that look under the hood helps me, and I presume others. It really is psychological warfare. Keep it up, says Sarah Restiano. That previous message about thank you for taking a step back from Rob Davis. You're so welcome. I'm so glad. I know that this is something that needs to be discussed, because it's an internal monologue that everybody would be having with themselves. Here, we're empowered by that. We embrace it and are empowered by it, and it's all part of being FOMO-free and greed-free and level-headed with our analysis. Thank you, by the way, for hitting like, and cheers, Apple Blossom, for telling everybody that they're doing a great job as well with that. Thank you so much. Katie Babe says, you're chatting in there, that's cool. Rob Davis says, this is what I've been hoping for, making a lot of what we watch every day make a lot more sense. Thank you, Rocky Outcrop. Yes, my friend, buddy, you're so welcome, man. You're so welcome. And I think it was interesting to look at that and to see the split between how there was nothing that had been trending positively on any time frame right up until, you're flicking beyond the intraday and into the daily time frame, and then to be able to say, this is my frustration. I understand it. I've drawn a circle around it. I've named it. I've labeled it, and I'm able to face it and understand it. It's a really important thing, I think, so it's cool that we did that. I'm looking here on Twitter for Jamie's Twitter. So is it this one, Jamie? Jamie, there are those folk talk of financial destruction. Is that to read out? Let's read this out. There are those. What? Yeah, cool. Let's do this. I'll click on the thread and everything. Woo, heart button. There are those of need to do this. Move it over just a bit. Right. There are those that talk of financial destruction. It's simply a season of renewal. The Enlightenment taught us to trust science and facts above institutions and fear. Civilization is now being similarly reborn, and we are each reliving the thrill of our own conception. Ooh la la. The men behind the curtain are decrepit, diseased, and dying. They are not the focus of the greatest story ever told. You are. You are the hero, the agent of change. The time is now. The moment is yours. You are the mystery's final page. Yes. Grumpy Kitty replying here, and you, sir, are one of the pioneers leading the way. Massive respect, Jamie. Absolutely. It's wonderful here to be on the vanguard. Jamie said, I'll stand in front of a train or tank for you, but I'll never seek to lead you. If suggested, I reject it. If nominated, I'll step aside, and if elected, I will resign. You, sir, are the protagonist, the antagonist, and the one turning every page. Beautiful stuff. Agreed. This, says male primate, is the tweet that made it clear that I want to buy you a pint one day. Nice one. This is our company now. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. Good. Retweet and quote tweet and say you are the hero of this epic journey. All of you. Just to be clear. Ding. Sweet. Excellent stuff. Wonderful. Wonderful. Right. I'm a bit behind the times at the minute, by the way. I'm 5 minutes over schedule here, and I've not done my crypto analysis yet. But hey. Daniel Lesage with $10. Jeepers, Daniel. What are you doing? That's twice your regular donation size. You've gone mad. What's happened to Daniel over here? 15 therapists have refused to see... Yeah, you've gone mad. 15 therapists have refused to see me in my lifetime. They say my neuroses are too disturbing. One of them is extreme masochism. And I only feel alive when GME is dropping these days. I love the hedgies. What a madman. Right there with you, Daniel. Yeah. Totally. Making the candles red just to know that it bleeds and feels something. They come in pints. What does? Red candles. Yeah. I kept saying to Super Chat, take my Biden bucks. But it made my YouTube app crash every time. Never did that with any other chat I ever sent. Is Biden ashamed of his bucks? Probably. Biden probably is ashamed of his bucks. He probably is. But if anybody actually did want to donate and they couldn't do it through Super Chat, there's a link in the description for... the PayPal donation and whatnot. PayPal's got lower fees and all that anyway. It's just a case of me being somewhat crap at reading the things out sometimes is the issue over here. But you know, if you're just trying to be generous and whatever, then that's totally there. And I'd appreciate it. Right, cool. Damn, these morning streams go too quick. Yeah, Katie Babes, totally. Lol, says Party Puppy. Merrick Sanders, Lepton Inc., thank you. Just saw MMAT response. Lol, legend. And H. Jones says, bahahaha. Bahahaha. That's how Elvis laughed. Bahaha. So, MMAT, that was something that people were talking about recently. Metamaterials. You go to feel it, but you can't quite feel it because they're not really material, it's meta. And shit like that. Oh, look at that. Ooh, what's that? What's that, Rocky? Oh my goodness. Let's just review the technical analysis that Rocky Outcrop did once on this channel here. Seems that the prices must have gone up between the 1.272 and the 1618 fib extensions and then turned around there at that point. This happens so very often. That's cool. I wonder when I did that. Almost certainly at the top there, though, for everybody watching along. Almost certainly. Yes, that's right. Oh no, but then I look down here and I see that there's this move thing here. When did I do this? Did you do this on my chart, Jimmy? You might have done this on my... Did you write all that crap up there? Was that what I wrote? I think I wrote that up there. Then I got sick. It says, this happens so very often. Yeah, it's not how you speak or anything. And then this speculative trade thing here, is that you? Yeah, cool. Anyway, sweet. So that's cool. If it was me that did it though, and I'd done it from up there, then that would have been pretty awesome. But MMAT could be either of us. I'll have to check it out. Ooh. Yeah, this looks like something I did. Yeah, this is cool. But so there's your trade. Yeah, I mean, all I can say is that that since we're over time here, presumably if you go back and find any MMAT sections I've done in the past, I've done a really fucking excellent job of it. That would be my takeaway from it, and we can move on there. So that's cool. That's cool. What does it look like though? Oh, it looks like this is probably the case. Decrease in negative momentum, very obvious. The on everything, there's obviously no strength of trend. You wouldn't expect to see one, but coming in with the potential for a cross. Rick and Morty lips, almost a certainty on that one over the next couple of days. Easy to manage trade position opportunity here, essentially. Not taking out that previous wick there is where you'd want to be. $3 is that's the case. That's the setup here. This is obviously a downward trend, so it's a counter trend move. So you're taking on inherent, it's a higher risk move, but then higher risk, higher reward. That's kind of the way that these things go. That's why counter trend trading is so very popular amongst people who don't have any idea that that's what they're actually doing. And myself. Then you have, I was talking about this actually one time not that long ago. Well, I say not that long ago, about 6 months ago or so. And somebody said, what type of trader would you consider yourself to be? And I said, oh, I suppose I'm a bit of a counter trend trader. And then TradeSpot interrupted me at the time and said, that's not true, Rocky. You're not. You're a trend trader. You so obviously are. It's so distinct in your approach, and it's true. I can easily talk about counter trend moves and that very easily, and I love doing it and love looking at them. But the whole thing kind of ties together. I mean, it's just about understanding trend, isn't it? So yes, can we therefore resume the overall upward trend that we had before? Seeing this as an overall higher low on the charts is pretty decent. That's the shitty time frame though. 4-hour time frame. I wonder who did that. It must have been you, Jimmy, man. Must have been. We've just come in for a negative crossover there, so almost certainly going to be wanting to take profit at 50% up from where we are right now. While this is the overall ultimate goal, there's almost certainly going to be inflection at 440, which is what. Yeah, it's 22% up from where we are just now. So, I mean, don't piss your pants. Right, moving on. I'll just check in with the chat and see that I didn't miss out anything in terms of those super chats that came in, because I'm going to be doing this other TA in a second here, and I will prioritize them. So let me see. For the watermelon fund, just a second. I appreciate that. Here's I appreciate that. I'm Mr. Watermelon. Here's a guest. Oh, hello, Mr. Watermelon. How you doing? Not so bad. Not doing too badly over here. Yeah. Appreciated. Thanks so much. Right, cool. Excellent. And then Salamander, tuition fees or weekend drinks. Thanks for all your sharing. Green hearts. Green hearts to you, Sal. Right, brilliant. Okay, sweet. Not missing out on anything. Let's see in the chit chat here. Banana fridge. Rocky is a trendy bastard. Oh, thanks so much, Party Puppy. Cardano. Yeah, okay, cool. Horn Hunter. Oh, Horn Hunter. Good to see you, my friend. By the way, for people who are interested, Horn Hunter has indeed read the Wheel of Time, and it's and that's where that name comes from. And I recognized it at the time, and it was such an esoteric in joke, and it's cool, and we're in love. Right. Sound. Let's start off the technical analysis by looking at Cardano, and I'll just make this whole thing into a clip. But before we start, by the way, last night I was discussing this in the chit chat with Bad Mama Jama, D Harker, Christy, others, and I said if you had a gun to my head right now, what would I do? Well, I would short it because So that's just what it looked like. What do we see the prices drop down to? 38,300, having been previously at 40,800. I mean, I don't know, like that's pretty freaking good. Anyway, so that was the move then. It's come down to here. My mentality on this one would be then, at what point would you be getting out of that? I'd probably have taken profit on that short at this point, having moved down my any sort of stop loss if I was dealing with it that way, or indeed just taking profit at 38,300 or so. Anyway, I would probably have had this mentality. I think it's fair to say this is my chart, and I was looking at it, and that's where that box was drawn in by me. So probably would have been my mentality. This is all hypothetical trading here, but you can see we came down there, moved up a bit. I probably would have taken profit on that one. So are we able to find a bottom here at this point? And that'll be kind of then, or not a bottom, a local low with a chance to then continue up the way. That's kind of going to be the theme that we're looking at. And it'll be interesting to therefore see on the altcoin markets how they're doing, and if they've got anything similar on the go with regards to looking for a local low. Right, yeah. So I'm going to have to try and make this chart look a bit better for folk before I actually kick off this thing. There we go. Right, okay. Yeah, it's kind of covered up. It's a bit of a mess. Whatever. Let's do this. Let's roll. Hey, Rocky, could you take a look at ETH for a wee second? Yep, nice one, man. Ape Nation NFT. I'm going to be doing that right now. In fact, rather than me kind of waste time talking directly about it like there, I'm just going to start recording this clip, and this is what I'm going to put out on YouTube for everybody that isn't watching this live stream right now. Hi friends, my name's Rocky Outcrop. We're going to be taking a look at cryptocurrency technical analysis. I want to see, has Bitcoin put in a local low? Could we be challenging that 41, 42k region again? And of course the altcoins. And we're going to start off looking at altcoins, in fact, because a couple of suggestions have come in from the chitter chatter here, as I do live streams, which you're more than welcome to join me for sometime in the near future. You really should. They're great. So we're going to start off, and I'm going to take a look at Cardano. Then we're going to take a look at Ethereum. Then we'll take a look at Bitcoin, right? And then we'll take a look at Chainlink and Tezos, perhaps. Right, that's what we're going to do. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. Okay, so this is the intro credits. They sound great, but I'm talking over them anyway, just because I want you to hit the like button. Why do I want you to hit the like button? Because if you don't, I'll cry myself to sleep at night. I'll go, that's what I'll do. No, I won't. It's because it helps the YouTube algorithm. You know, because you're not 12, you need me to tell you that. But of course, 12-year-olds understand that anyway, which is why I need to be so obvious about it. Thanks so much for anybody that does choose to help, not keep this as the best kept secret on YouTube. So here we have it, cryptocurrency technical analysis. There's the Bitcoin chart, but we're going to take a look at Cardano first, like I said. And this is Cardano versus USDT on the Binance chart. 4-hour time frame, getting support here at the 50 simple moving average. Nice to see, right in there at that 382. Unable to actually have cracked up above the 236 currently in terms of this potential retracement. As in, what am I saying here is that if we go above the 236, it would invalidate this Fibonacci retracement, right? So then we could start to look towards the top side. As it stands, we have a valid Fibonacci retracement on the go, and we could of course be looking down to these other targets, one of which is the 618 golden pocket, and that comes in at about $1.13. I don't want to see the prices back down there again, to be honest with you. How did we do in terms of this V-shaped recovery? Well, we can see that this is clearly all wick, and that this is really maybe where you could draw in that platform in terms of the launch pad down the way, the diving board that we talk about. So I talk about V-shaped recoveries, quite a lot over the last couple of months since crypto went to shit, and this is one of the things that is like, something that people don't seem to get taught for some reason in terms of crypto technical analysis in the world. I couldn't tell you why. Potentially has something to do with the fact that everybody else in the market's a charlatan that teaches this stuff. Anyway, I don't know. And you can see that the prices obviously then came up towards the 886. Let me just actually put it on here for you to see it. Where is the 886? 786, 1618. On this one, I'm going to have to type it in myself. Right, 0.886. Yeah, it came up towards the 86, found support at it. It was like, oh, come on, let's do it. Let's actually do the proper successful V-shaped recovery doodads over here. And then, you know, decided not to after a couple of days, after a day or so. So that's kind of disappointing, right? And that's where we stand with this thing. So let's acknowledge that and face facts about it, because, of course, the overall result from this is simply that we have got a couple of things to point out, you know, which are fairly obvious for us. Let's do it real quick though so you can see. I'm going to use horizontal rays so that there's no chance you get confused, and pop this in and say, look, that's where our previous high was, for example, over there. Let's use another one and stick it in, for example, over here. Let's use another one and stick it in, for example, over here. Let's use another ray and stick it in here and say that's where a low was. Let's use another ray and stick it in here, roughly in there, and say that's where a low was. Where's the body closures? Yeah, actually I got it. Nice one. That was pretty good. And then here's another low. And what we can say about these things is that this, and then 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 this are all going down the way, right? Because that's what a downward trend is, right? So there's your hopium kind of shat on. Sorry about that, but this is cool because we're actually at a point where we are finding support at the 50 simple moving average. It is around about that's 382. All we need to see is the price is moving up above 130 for us to take out that 236, invalidate that Fibonacci towards the downside, and actually start to move up the way thereafter. What's another good expression of that thing? We'll use Fibonacci as well to do it, and I'll pop it in here down from that high down to the actual ultimate low, which was that one just there. And you can see that not only are we getting support at the 50 simple moving average, we're getting support at the 236, and I am actually proactively currently looking at this one with a target of 176 in mind. Why? Well, actually, if we go from the 4-hour time frame all the way up towards the weekly time frame, consolidate all of those candles into, you know, into less, then you can see here that really we don't have, like, the previous high was up at 145, and then afterwards, you know, the previous one was at 167, etc. If the prices go up towards 170, 180 in that golden pocket, then we're taking out so many things on the weekly time frame, and that's really, really, really good. But I'd also be satisfied at that point for it to turn around and find a higher low at that point thereafter. So if we're trending somewhere over the next, shut up, ambulance. If we're trending somewhere over the next month, then let it be that way. That's kind of what I'm looking to on that front, right? Okay, so that's another one of those situations. Don't say I didn't tell you. Now, if we're here looking at the next one and we're trying to fill in the gap of the silence because we've forgotten what the ticker is, then we're going to make a sentence that sounds somewhat like this as we scroll up the way and try and remember what it was the Ape Nation NFT asked for. In fact, it just occurred to me without having to read it, and it was Ethereum USDT. Nice one. That's nice and smooth. So here we are with Ethereum charts, right? Same sort of thing last night, by the way, talking about this thing. Oh, I didn't mention it as part of this episode. Yeah, last night I was talking about this in the Discord, which you can join. It's a great, fantastic technical analysis discussion area as well. Just a wonderful community full of fantastic people. Through my Patreon, if you want to go join that. We were discussing this last night and saying, well, what was I saying? I was saying, if you put a gun to my head, what would I do right now? I would short it. That was in and around about these areas of 2,400. Now, if it were to go up above 2,500, then I think that's great, and we actually could potentially trend up the way for another 10% move up, and I'm looking towards 2,700 on this one. But, you know, coming back down towards this area was basically an inevitability, and you're looking at 2,320 or so for where we found support. Now, we could actually push on further down, and I'm still looking towards all the twos on that front if we do go in for a higher low. This movement towards the top side has got this as you know, what we see here is the same sort of crap that you look at when you look at the SPY market, where if we look at these highs on the way up the way and we look at the divergence down below, you can see bearish divergence moving up anyway, bearish divergence moving up anyway, all that stuff, but hidden bullish divergence along all these lows along the downside, and then pushing up but having big pullbacks. When this big pullback came in, it was from that high down to that low, and it was 10%, etc. Where has this discussion come from? Well, if you check out my live episode earlier on, which is what I'm currently filming right now, How Meta, we were looking at the SPY, and I was talking all about this, and it's essentially the same sort of story. So there's plenty to be learned there in terms of this chart. So are we in a bullish mode? Yes, we are. Is it a strong bullish trend? Well, let me just bring up the DMI to show you. Well, there is actually a strength of trend here on the 1 hour time frame towards the top side, but you're going to see this kind of slightly diminish. Well, actually, no, you're not. It's still there. It's still in the strength of trend position. That's kind of unlike the SPY in a sense. But yeah, actually, we've just come back up towards our previous highs. We're not actually in an all-time high situation, and there's this recent pullback here actually does give us the volatility and the average true range movement to get some sort of strength of trend on the go. So actually that's how that's all panned out. Oh, look at that. There was a head and shoulders over there that worked out for us, and we talked about that at the time. That's cool. That's cool. Right, so Ethereum technical analysis. Right, negative. There's bearish divergence all over the shop. You know, this pullback down the way towards 2,350 is like, oh, it's okay. It gives you an edge if you're looking to try and scalp it. But then again, you're still going to have to acknowledge your risk there and take profit earlier on. So you're still looking at probably taking profit at 24.24. You know, I'm not a financial advisor, none of this financial advice, but this to me feels like it's probably not going to go very well, and that you're looking probably down towards 2,222 if you're looking for your lesser risk entry on this one, trying to find support off of that 236 Fibonacci retracement. I'm going to remove that one off the chart. We don't really need it right now, but point out as well in terms of if we were to be moving towards the downside on this front, that the 236 comes in what there? 2,236. Oh, there was me talking about 2,222 off the back of those recent highs, all the twos. So, you know, that to me doesn't strike me as much of a coincidence at all. Moving on. Bitcoin USDT is what we decided to talk about next. This is Bitcoin on the Binance chart. What have I got drawn on this one so far? Oh, this is the one from before. Cool. Well, this is the liquidity box that we're in at the minute. If we drop down below that zone at 38,000, then I'm looking for 36,666. Go beyond 36,666, then we're cracking on down even further. 37,800 is 6 is at the minute. The 50 simple moving average here on the 4-hour time frame coming in at around about 36,666. It's going to be those two numbers if we do crack on down past this area for a higher low. If we're going to continue to trend towards the top side, the bearish divergence that we've got on the go here is fairly distinct. I think you'd be very much a greedy person if you're looking to try and get to 42k at the minute on this one without seeing some sort of pullback down the way. We've already come from 40 grand down to 38. To think that that could go a full 10% and drag us down to 36 is absolutely not beyond the realm of reason, and I would probably say then, you know, essentially don't say I didn't tell you so in terms of that one. But could we actually continue to go towards the top side? Could we or not? Well, we do. We have an edge, like I was saying. Could this be this low? Could this be this higher low that we're looking for? I'm not convinced by it as it stands, but it's there, and you know, it's enough of a movement down the way to give us the potential for a local low. We don't have enough of a movement up the way to say that we've continued on at this point for higher highs. But but you could say that we do, because we're above the 236 there on this, you know, in terms of this little movement. Just. It's skin of teeth stuff, you know. So there's no point in saying that it's there yet, because it simply isn't. But the hidden bullish divergence we've got on the go with this low, reminiscent again of that chat that we talked about with the SPY. It's not showing up on the caretaker's DMI for whatever reason. I don't really know. I'll just point it out myself manually. This is the previous low. This is a low here. This is the previous low here on the... Whoops, that was a bit all over the place. This is the previous low here on the RSI. You can see that this low is obviously lower. So between these 2 points, the reason why it's not showing up yet, actually I do know this on the caretaker's RSI, is because this is not yet a confirmed local low, and we've got that movement up the way. I think that basically is the situation right now for us. This is consolidating at an area just shy of resistance. To do more of this in this zone gives us an opportunity to kind of burn off and reset and get back to the neutral kind of point of view on the RSI here, and indeed as well on this one, if we want to be able to kind of crack towards the top side with a degree of momentum, having rebased at this area. But you know, while that's ongoing, there's a massive risk for people to sustain positions against the in the face of that knowledge, right? You know, towards the top side. Well, obviously there's inherent risks with that involved. Right, so moving on, LINKUSDT here. This is Chainlink versus the US dollar. Got a positive cross here on the golden, golden cross, you could say here between the 50 and the 200 simple. This is looking good. We're at $19 at the minute. Fantastic. The high so far today in at $20. Fantastic. This is the testing of this area that we've been looking to do. In terms of consolidating towards the top side, at least it's kind of trending a little bit up the way. It's not very good if you were looking for a bull flag in terms of like the shape of this thing. You'd have been hoping more maybe down that way instead of up the way. But that's fine. At least it's not just pure sideways and looking weak like the Bitcoin one was at the minute. And we've got this kind of the potential for this to operate as a channel. Now you could maybe try and say there's a wedge of some sort. I'm not going to. Looks more like a channel to me, and that would be trending in this area, but I'm still looking clearly towards the area of $20. I mean, this is a clearly profit-taking zone, and therefore people will have taken profit, so I'm waiting for that. If we want to be making moves up above, then I'm going to be looking up towards $22 next with that nice 10% move, but, you know, this is where we stand right now. There's hidden bearish, there's visible bearish divergence between these highs up here, seeing a pullback from this point, taking us from $20 down towards 18-something, high 18s again, to come in for a higher low at the lower end of that channel is absolutely conceivable. Just to make this a little bit clearer, therefore, for you, I will go to the go in here and drag it up the way and use a stupid channel thing just so you can see what I'm talking about. And say, you know, the chances of us coming down here towards this lower end and coming in for high 18s or $19, etc., is exceedingly high. Actually, just looking closely at the price action and seeing it for the first time properly with my own eyes, not embarrassed about this. It's just, you know, this is just the way it is. I should have done this properly before, though. We've obviously just done that, right? Interesting. So we're doing what I would have thought would have happened had I looked closely at the charts. Well, we've done that now. Can we move up the way? Golden cross there. The bearish divergence still on the go. Neutral line. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see this come down and test $18 again in terms of coming in for a higher low and wicking down there, but closing its bodies up above, like, you know, 1830, 1850, and then moving towards the top side. I would love that to be better entry than it is now, but the edge is still there, and you could trade this towards the top side, taking profit in there at $20.50 or so before, like, you know, anything beyond that's going to be greedy at the minute. I'm not a financial advisor, none of this financial advice. It's just how I'd be looking at this myself if I were trading it, which I most likely will be over the next wee while, to be honest with you, because I've been doing a fair bit of that in the background without going on about it too much. Anyhow, but there you have it. Link, it's pretty simple. Chain link technical analysis has been really simple for ages. It's just the key areas, 18, 20, 22. It's ridiculous. It's 10%. The number is like, it's like painting by numbers. Right, anyway, moving on, XTZUSDT, and this is me coming towards the end of my live show overall, actually, by the way, as I film this for people. Again, if you're watching this recorded, which you quite likely are, hitting the like button and all that's really appreciated. Really do love that when people do it. Thinking about making my crypto videos go unlisted, though, in which case, you know, if you want to find out about me putting them out there, you probably have to join the Patreon, to whom then I will send out notifications. Otherwise, I won't bother. And I'm thinking that, you know, there's no point in reducing the overall stats on my channel by having such pure viewership numbers and engagement rates from the cryptocurrency community, and that the people that out there that really do value it can get it through Patreon, right? You know, how about that? It's a good idea. Makes a lot of people a lot of money. They're happy with it, and or I could just ditch it. You let me know. I'm always open for feedback. I really am, and I'm truly dedicated towards the community. Little things that I would mention then is just slightly different, because we've been looking at this and saying, you know, in Chainlink, is that a bull flag, etc., or not a bull flag? Is it a channel? Well, I mean, is this like a descending triangle here at this point? You know, I'm not massively enamored with it, really overall. That doesn't look so great, but there is a kind of Adam and Evie type feeling to this. We've got a support line that coming in here, and that lines up with the 200 simple period moving average. This is the 4-hour time frame, by the way, if you haven't noticed. 4-hour time frame, and then you've got this kind of area here, and then something kind of here, and it has that feel to it. You know, a lot of people would talk about these things as being like an Adam and Eve top type of thing. Like, you could look that up on the old Bilskowski's textbook thing if you wanted to, or something like that. Now, it isn't an Adam and Eve, right? It isn't. But it isn't a descending triangle necessarily either. Not on this time frame, not the way that looks. But there's something to be said here about the importance of this horizontal, I would imagine, right? And that coming in here at about 270, and we know that the prices kick around about 281 up to 290s, etc., or $3 on Tezos recently. And until such times as we're actually above the $3 price points, round number, you know, for one thing, then we're operating within this range here. So that means that we're back to talking about this as being a potential sort of rectangle in this zone, and that's what we're talking about. You know, if we do continue to fail to put in highs versus our previous high, then you're going to start to think about it as being an ascending triangle. If we don't even attempt to do those previous highs and just go back down to the neckline again, you're going to think about it as long as the lines of an Adam and Eve. And if we do go up towards past the previous highs but don't take out the $3 area, then you're thinking about it as being a rectangle. And then beyond that, then you're thinking about whether or not we're actually trending with any sort of positive price action. Overall, so far, this whole region could represent a higher low. Is all right for us, you know, in terms of the charts going from that low to that high. And you can see that the midpoint in this channel here that they've drawn in, you know, the rectangle in this area, the midpoint right in here in the middle of it is where the 236 resides, you know, and that's coming in there. at that current price point of 281. So we know exactly where we stand with this one. We've had a big enough pullback. If we do drop down the way, then you're looking down towards these sorts of levels, and I don't want to see the prices getting down to 240, because I'd still, even at that stage, anticipate 222 perhaps as being the best entry. I'd be buying back into it with momentum and any sort of turnarounds. I don't want to catch a knife on any of this sort of stuff at the minute. There's no much point, but there is definitely a good deal of reason towards looking towards your market structure, and of course achieving higher highs and moving on the way is going to offer up decent 10% moves. It's what we're looking at across the market. Easy to be captured. There's no point in risking your account over it. Don't take 6 of 10 as opposed to trying to get 9 or 10 or 11 of 10% moves, because when you do that, you're going to create attrition on your own account over the longer period of time. So that's where we are right now. Not a financial advisor, none of this financial advice, but there you have it. You could be looking at this and saying, of course, we've got hidden bullish divergence on these lows. If this is indeed the case, that's the 4-hour time frame. Put it up to the 2-day time frame or something, just to make it a bit clearer in terms of the where we are right now. It's a nothing. It's not much, and it's clearly part of a downward trend, right? So that's where we are. That's what the reality is. So for us to anticipate that we could potentially come down to roughly where that second arrow was there on this thing, and say that there's a 618, well, bang on, cheaper. Sometimes I'm getting pretty good at doing that, live on screen. Anyway, for us to come down to that area, and find a low at 250 would be really, really, really good, because the chances are you just all going down towards 222, 226, etc. That's the story, because that's the downward trend that we're in at the minute, until such times as we isn't. Brilliant, great, good stuff. Right, sound. So back over to the big screen. So that was cryptocurrency technical analysis. I'm Rocky Outcrop, and if you hit the like button, maybe it'll make it so that more people watch the video, in which case I'll be less inclined to start doing these unlisted and just for Patreon members, right? It's not a resentment thing, and it's not despondency. It's about looking at it and saying, how is this going to affect the channel's stats and growth over a long period of time, and how as well can I also keep on doing what I've been doing for the last couple of years, and helping people in the crypto world, become financially independent. A lot of people out there find exceedingly high levels of value in that content, and that's brilliant, and I can continue to provide it, or I can keep doing it publicly. I'm not too sure, but the stats speak for themselves, and you all can see them. It's all perfectly publicly visible. I'm not despondent about things, honestly, genuinely not, and I have a massive depth of appreciation and love for all of the audience, and everybody that lifted me up, and as I lift you back up as well in this community of positivity that we have here over the last 18 months doing this sort of thing. So there's no depth, there's no end to the depth of appreciation that I feel, and there's no real despondency there. I'm just being real, right? So much love. That's a 20-minute episode, a bit longer than I expected, but there you have it. See you in the next one. There we have it, folks. So that was my crypto technical analysis. Right, Mike is very quiet. Damn it. Probably, it is a bit quiet. Yeah, well, at least it was consistent, right? And there we have it. Yes, sweet. So, yeah, I'm just going to read the chat and catch up with you and then say cheerio, essentially, unless I hear anything. I hear a t-shirt is gentler on your hair. Indeed, I used a t-shirt today. This is a t-shirt, and that's what I used. It's gentler on your hair. You can, Apple Blossom's got some good tips on that. That was a great explanation. Thanks so much, Apple Blossom. Cheers. You helped me all last year, says Horn Hunter. Man, you're appreciated, Horn Hunter. You're a part of that crowd that I know is know that I appreciate them. As I know that you appreciate me. That it's really brilliant, and much appreciated to you and everybody that you speak for. You represent a lot of people with that comment. Dan Ernst says hearty heart. Hey, nice. So yeah, right. So Rocky is like a Nirvana song, sometimes very quiet, sometimes very loud. Oh, is that right? Oh yeah, because I've positioned the microphone really badly. I mean, this is the correct positioning of this microphone here now, and I do this a lot. You cool, sweet, nice one. So Mighty Red dropping a heart in there as well. Thanks so much. Love your artwork, by the way, Mighty Red. She did such a great picture of me walking along holding a monkey's hand. It was so great. And then as well, another great picture of me and Jamie in the high five. So good that I want to NFT it and sell it, by the way, Mighty Red. I mean, that's what I want to do. So but I don't own the artwork. It's your artwork. Rob Davis, Rocky Outcrop, you look like yourself. Color is back. So thankful you're able to get back to healthy and good quality of life. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Probiotics helped. Katie Babes, we know you appreciate us because you liked YouTube comments in the dead of the night, lol. Yeah, bad habits though, I guess. Loving the crypto TA. Will invest in it once I get my ambo. Can't wait to get the red light on the roof and some nice whoopee sirens to make my brain do floppies and spinnies. Totally. If you do go all Patreon, I'll come along. Your tutelage is irreplaceable, Janine. That's so nice of you. Thanks so much for the vote of confidence. Smells like Teen Spirit says Ape Nation NFT. Yeah, here we are now. PayPal, says Katie Babes. Yes, PayPal, PayPal. I'm not too sure the context there, but yes, thank you. All right. Well, yeah, something like that. You know, I mean, this is me on the fly discussing it with you live. We can chat about it in Discord, you know. Oh, sorry, Jiu-Jitsu guy, and everybody that's reading his one is who thinks to himself, will the videos be available to members, etc. Yeah, I don't know yet. I'm discussing this live with you. This is an evolutionary process that we go through together as a community, where I make decisions like this purely informed, really, by the community themselves, and go above and beyond to show that on my side I'm dedicated and committed without any promise of reward, right? That's what I've done with cryptocurrency for a very, very long time. Very, very, very committed without any promise of reward whatsoever. Then take it to the community, discuss about it. And if the community then says, no, this is the way you should do things, then I'll change it around and everybody will know that it's absolutely not in any way something to do with my own honor or commitment or any of that sort of stuff, that it's the other way around. And that's the way I've always done things. And it's, you know, it takes a long time and that obviously to be in that position, but I've done the work on that front. And that's it. Observe thyself, hairstylist and has curly hair but doesn't take any of my advice. Wait, if you're talking to me, I take advice on hair. Robin Davis, just saying this was a particularly awesome stream today. Shared on Twitter and hoping more people can get on board. Wow, that's amazing, Rob. Thanks so much. Thank you so much. Right, yes, brilliant. Oh, I'm happy to change my description, but I'm going to miss my beer mug. Don't worry about it, Jiu-Jitsu guy. I don't want anybody to feel deprived or excluded, and none of these monetary things are actually like a charge or a fee or really represent any sort of contract between yourself and myself. The contract that exists between ourselves is largely unspoken, but it's a real commitment that I make regardless of any outcome, you know. So it's not there. I certainly don't want anybody to feel deprived. The contract is going to be fulfilled in terms of me wanting and genuinely trying to help people, and just whatever framework that operates under will be decided by the people who I am actually committing to.
I've got a sale on unreasonable.shop.
Oh, Jimmy's got a sale on unreasonable.shop.
I didn't do it.
Jimmy didn't do it.
Teespring
Teespring themselves are offering a sale on unreasonable.shop at the minute because they want to boost the store.
But I'm getting all the fucking money I should normally get.
But he's getting all the money he should normally get. So Teespring are just doing it. Back to school. Back to school. All right, okay, cool. Okay, let me just stick this in here. Back, BACKTOSCHOOL, right?
Yeah,
All one word. Back to school for 10% off at reasonable.shop. Extra cool discount as it doesn't affect Jamie's revenue. It's on till August 2nd. Thanks Teespring for the discount. Ding. Right, cool, excellent, nice one. I can even pin that. And Jamie's just after announcing that he's going to put his prices up 10% as well. Until the end of the sale. And Jimmy says, it's so unreasonable, man. I can't even hardly hear him saying it, but there you go, right? So what Jimmy's saying he's going to do is, it's unreasonable.shop, so there you have it. He's going to put his prices up by 10% until the end of the sale, unless people, unless people buy now. There you have it, right? So effed up, man. I don't know, but it's totally unreasonable. He's not in it to be reasonable. Rocky Outcrop, you mentioned you have a PayPal. Would love that link because it doesn't take fees from you. Oh, right. What's the easiest way of getting that? Let me just bring up the browser again. We can just do this real quick together. If I go over here to my chart and type in Streamlabs, I think ultimately this links through to the same places, right? So I'm just going to think, what's the easiest way to get there? Now, if I go streamlabs.com/RockyOutcrop, then it should show this stream live as well and have donation crap around it and whatever. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Am I going to be here? Let's do it. Okay, Rocky Outcrop is outline. That's not me. That bastard is not me. He's not me. Right. Sorry. Yeah. Screw you, Rocky Outcrop, stealing my name. He's stealing my goddamn name. What's his latest stream? Who is this guy? I bet you his latest stream was from 5 years ago and he doesn't even use the name. 7 days ago. No, it wasn't. Ah, bastard. Might have to become friends with this guy and everything. Probably really get on really well with him. But what's mine then? Rocky_Outcrop? Oh, let's see if this is it. There we have it. Ooh, cool. Right. So there's no video there. It's obviously not been set up properly, that page, but it exists. Right. There we have it. So that's the easiest way to get through to that one. And then you can tip the channel. You can also, it's the same donation address and whatever, so you can do it anytime. It just links up in the back end to PayPal. Right. Yeah. That's so annoying. But anyway, there's my address there. Are we done, by the way? Am I done? It's 15:43. It's gone on a bit longer than I meant it to. Thank you, by the way, Katie Babes. It's super amazing. I really do appreciate it. For people who want to know, by the way, YouTube does 30% fee on any donation. Streamlabs is just under 10%. I had it so that I had this merch Pro Plus membership and they were charging 11%, but I didn't have any merch, so I was just paying percents for nothing. So I think it's like 8 or 9% that they charge. Then crypto donations, free, obviously, and PayPal donations, I think, are pretty much free. And then other ways to donate to the channel, like the indicators that I give away on Gumroad, there you can put in 0 in the box there. If you put in any money, they charge, I think, 10% fee as well. Gumroad.com charge 10% fee, but then it goes through to my PayPal and it's done. So there's the fees for you. And if anybody wants to suggest anything else in terms of what ways I could manage anything like that, I'm all ears, and I'm really happy that people are as kind and generous as yourself, Katie Babes, and everybody out there that's done all the donations and everything today as well. It's super amazing. Right. In fact, yeah, I'm genuinely, thanks so much. It's really appreciated. It's really freaking cool. It's really cool. So credits and cheerio. Let's bring the credits up. Ba-bum, bum, ba-da-ba-da-ba-dum, bum. In fact, just to have a quick look at GameStop and that before we go. 163.09. Where's my drawings gone? I've hidden them. Yeah. This rectangle thing, I mean, it was good and everything pre-market. I'm going to just get rid of it for now. Oh, you can't see shit. Let me just change this so you can see stuff as I'm still just going to keep. I'm still, this credits show's over, but that didn't happen for us. We could, if we wanted to, if we'll leave this line on here just so we know where that kind of roughly was before. But there's a low and here's a lower low, right? And there's highs in between. And then we look over here at the RSI and we see that there's just too big a spread here in the 1 minute time frame to really make much of an assessment of it. But we can see quite clearly that if I go from that low over here to this high, that it's been sloping, it's got this upward sloping line the entire time throughout that period of lows. Go up towards the 15-minute time frame and see that this is not actually it's between these 2 points here, very much bullishly divergent. The actual pattern, if you're going to be talking about a pattern in here, it's not a stupid rectangle and all the rest of it. Really, not really at this stage. It's this wedge, and funnily enough, no, not funnily enough, nothing. That's where we are. But if we're looking at it then and how this will move up the way. I'd kind of be more inclined to look at it like this front. 60% on this only really takes you up to fake out territory. So it's like an unhappy wedge to be in terms of like, even if we got this sort of textbook move off of the back of it, it only takes us into this region, which is still below market structure areas. So we want to see this get the full measured move off the back of it, the full one, come up to this area and actually do the test of the 200 simple moving average, as you can see here in the 15-minute time frame. That's where we're leaving off with GME for the rest of the day, by the way, for folk, because I think it's probably worth me putting out a little bit of technical analysis at the end, which is like serious and helpful for people. And then likewise, the same story with AMC inside this consolidation pattern here, right at the apex for it, you know, and waiting to see how things pan out. I'm not looking specifically for divergences or anything during this period of time because of the lack of actual trend on the go here. But I am going to be looking at this structure. We came back down and we tested off the neutral line perfectly, kind of as anticipated earlier on in the show when we talked about this. So that's happened now, and we're moving up the way. We're in this region where the 50 and the 200 are almost bedfellows at the moment, you know, making sweet, passionate, sideways love with each other, as opposed to actually separating and diverging out the way. And that's as a result of this kind of consolidation that's here. It's very clear to be seen, and we're waiting for that to break out before we come up with any further conclusions as to the price action. If you are watching now and you've not hit like yet, please do. If you're watching later as a part of a recorded stream, you've made it through to this end, please do hit the like button. It massively helps. And I super appreciate it. It's not for my ego, like I say, it's for the growth of the channel, and it would be wonderful. And I appreciate that the audience out there is, of course, of a demographic which is probably about a decade bigger for me personally than it is for the big popular YouTubers out there. You know, the likes of me versus the massed investors audience is very vastly different in terms of demographic, and you guys need to be told this, okay? And that's what I'm doing there, and I think you probably appreciate the information. So thank you, I appreciate it. And yeah, so that's it. Cool, right? Sweet. So we've covered all that off. Thanks for watching then. And super chats came in from Apple Blossom, Daniel Lesage, Rob Davis, Sarah Ristiano, I Am Not a Cat, and Sally Mander. In fact, that's cool. That's it. That's it. That's the credits done. Wow, nice one. Excellent. Thank you so much, by the way, Apple Blossom, for being a moderator and being fantastic in the Discord and being a great part of the community. Thank you, Daniel Sage, for turning up all the time, you know, and always supporting me with little good luck fivers and stuff. There's stupid messages that make me laugh. Stuff like that. It's really funny. Always a good guy. And of course, your music stuff. Thank you so much to Rob Davis today for putting in those really heartfelt and nice comments, like really motivational, along with your donation. Thank you so much to I Am Not a Cat for, of course, all of your whiskers and meowy fun. Sarah Ristiano, you're here all the time and you put in donations all the time, and it's really appreciated, and you're consistent in the audience there, and it's nice. And I feel that if you want to ask more questions and get more engagement from me in terms of any questions you might have, then great. And then as well to Sally Mander, the Canadian lovely person who's just who's the type to sit in the chat there and be like buds for everybody if anybody's feeling a bit pissed off, and it's great. It's got a real nice background presence for me in terms of like self-esteem and everything else. Genuinely appreciate everybody. That's it. Cool. See you tomorrow. See you on Monday. Maybe see you later on in Discord for a live stream, kind of just to chat with everybody. Who knows? If I do anything over the weekend, I'll tell you in advance. And otherwise, back on Monday for more of this. Hope the TA goes well for y'all. And then the thank yous to everybody in the audience. AB Lopez, thanks so much. Horn Hunter, thanks again. You're welcome, my friend. Have a great weekend as well. Thank you so much, Finesse Finance. Thank you so much, Apple Blossom, Party Puppy, Katie Babes, Joe Maxwell, That Jiu-Jitsu Guy. Of course, we'll always continue these discussions about how everything would work in terms of patrons and whatever memberships and all that. Always open for feedback. Thank you so much, Epiphany Christie. Oh, you've changed your name again. Great stream today, Rocky Outcrop. It was really nice to hear your thoughts and really frustrations about the GME together. Thank you for doing all this always. You're welcome. I hope that just, let's let that be prophylactic in terms of any of our frustrations, right? As much as possible. Apple Blossom, again, yeah, thank you, Money All Stars. You're a legend. Thank you so much as well. For Dead Money All Stars, here's a guy who's trying to put together a clip, and for myself as well, in terms of having done a TA in the past and got good prediction and then seen it play out in the charts. I mean, people here, they know that it happens all the time. Wouldn't it be wonderful if there was that? He's trying to do that. Anybody who can offer him any assistance, I'm sure he'd appreciate it. And anybody else who likes that type of idea, that wants to get involved in the community in some way and make something that showcases the good work that I try to do here, I'd massively appreciate it. And he's somebody that's doing that right now proactively, starting with TradeSpot and doing my one after. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, there's a thread on Discord where you can contribute to ideas. It's called Marketing Ideas. It's in there. You'll see it in the Support the Community category. Harry, great to see you as well, by the way. Harry, thanks so much for that. Gio, for your chit-chat today. Gio Maxwell, great to see you. Katie of Charka as well, the biggest dog in the world. Thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed pooping the monster today. Ape Nation NFT, thanks for tuning up. Fantastic stream today. Super appreciate it. Pierre Charles Mignault, thanks so much. Observe Thyself, thank you as well. I haven't even looked for an answer yet. Was just curious. I wonder what that was earlier on. It's cool. It's nice to see you all chatting amongst each other in there as well. FU Money, good guy. Thanks for tuning in as well. Supernova, that's great to see you as well. And is there anybody I've missed? I mean, TradeSpotting, very much appreciated. Daniel Groves, Dan Ernst, these are great guys. X, good to see you. X, that's of course X Zapataketi. And where's Seamus? Good to see you. And all of yous, right? All of yous. And I'll just check the latest chat. I've not missed any. Oh, AB Lopez, great guy. Thank you so much. OI, JCIM53, Sneak Attack. Man, thanks so much for that. It's appreciated. That's cool. That's cool. Excellent. Thanks so much. Diamond Hands, Ronaldo. Is Ronaldo in the house? If you are, the Rocky Outcrop, you're a legend. So appreciated, Hermano. You're appreciated too, buddy. You're appreciated too. Somebody missed the credits. He does that on purpose. It's funny. He doesn't want to be in the credits. Here's Ronaldo Moreno here. I can't recommend his music enough. Really great guy, lovely guy. You can check out his channel anytime. He's got a lovely voice. And he's very good at playing the guitar as well. And there's his channel just there. Okay, just want to give a shout out to that guy at the end. Let's skip a bit so you can hear him singing. I suppose you're probably just about to start and I kind of messed that section up. And